Hail, bird of prey. 5. Hail, Karuga.
Kapla!
Kapla.
I'm going to take this opportunity, however, to suggest that we all hail Karuga. That's all I'm saying.
Forgive me, Doctor. I'm receiving a number of distress calls. I don't doubt it.
Y'all remember to tip your waitresses. Have a mighty fine night.
If you come in peace, surrender or be destroyed. If you're here to make war, we surrender.
Both good. The important thing is I'm meeting new people.
When the appointed hour arrives, the Marauders will deactivate their cloaking devices and begin transporting Klingon shock troops directly to the landing zone.
Landing zone? Where? Tell me.
Why not? Your feeble weapons will be useless against us. We will kill all your males and take your females to mate with.
All right. Now the Federation's taking over, whether you like it or not. You people, you've been running this planet like a piecework factory. From now on, it's going to be under one roof. You're going to run it like a business. And that means you're going to make a profit.
Look at these 3 words written larger than the rest, with a special pride never written before or since. Tall words, proudly saying, "We the people."
Hi, I'm Nicole DeBoer. I played Lieutenant Ezri Dax on DS9, and I welcome you to Bird O' Prey 5 channel. Hail Karoga.
Hello world, it's Bird O' Prey 5, Kapla, and welcome to Bed Life for Friday, March 31st, 2023. And yes, we started an hour later than usual because I had a doctor's appointment. She came about 4, and well, all ready now. All ready to stream now. Apologies for the delay, and apologies for not giving a heads up, because honestly, I wasn't 100% sure when she was coming or if I'd be streaming at all today. So, but we're here. We're here. And thank you, John Araki, for a $1 super chat before the stream even began. Greatly appreciate it. Richie Poole was first in the chat. Kapla, Richie. And John Araki says, early chat will be lost. No, not today, my friend. Not today. Hashtag remember the Karogamo and hashtag leave bird garbage. Thank you, I guess. John Araki. The Traveler says, greetings, birds, salty turds, and nerds. And says, who wants to bet Bird will be late? Well, I wasn't late. Richie Poole says, shut up, Wesley. And John DeMarco says, greetings all. Greetings, John. Gorilla's Random Thought says, can only lurk. Boss is on the rag. Sorry to hear that, Gorilla. Sci-Fi Nation is in the house. Kapla. Sci-Fi Nation says, greetings, Bird O' Prey, Mom O' Prey, Sassy O' Prey, and fellow nerds. All hail glorious Karoga. And of course, the God Emperor, Bird O' Prey 5. Kapla. Sci-Fi Nation. Jedi Bill says, Kapla, Brother Warrior, Bird O' Prey, and all should hail Karoga. Thank you, Jedi Bill. I'm glad you're okay, Jedi Bill. It was a little touch and go there yesterday when you were eating your very hot salsa on in the backstage. In the backstage, LDG backstage, freethenet.org/backstage, They were treated to a private Jedi Bill eating extremely hot salsa yesterday. And it was tough to watch. It was tough to watch. I'm glad you're okay. 47 Yorktown says, hello, young sir. Hello, 47. Captain, fandom nerd, says, wow, Bird is on. Kapla, Captain. I'm on. I was on a stream earlier today. I wasn't chatting. I happened to be watching, and I happened to notice you brought up my name. Thank you, Captain. I appreciate it. A reminder to the community. Yes, I was out, and I gave a grade to that Picard episode, and it was 0 out of 10. Sci-Fi Nation uses his 9-month membership as a Karogan often to say, hail Karoga. Thank you, Sci-Fi Nation. Hail Karoga. Yvette, the lovely Yvette, says, good evening, Bird and everyone. Good evening, Yvette. LDG says 2x, a reminder to speed up your YouTube. Josh Street says, Jedi Bill, how much is Birdo Prey 5 paying you for the new opening song? You think Jedi Bill? If Jedi Bill could do that music, then I think Jedi Bill's got another career on his hands. Richie Poole was in the Sisso Prey, Mamo Prey, Nephew O'Prey, and the sassy emojis. Thank you, Richie.
Is Richie there?
Richie is here, Mamo Prey.
Tell him I think, I strongly think
Okay.
that he should take Derek to Orlando mid-May.
Mamo Frey strongly suggests that you take Derek to Orlando around mid-May.
Look for a woman wearing a towel. No, I'm joking about that.
Mamo Frey says, look for a woman wearing a towel because, hush, hush, but Sisso Frey might be in the Orlando area come mid-May. So I don't know if you happen.
She'd be easy to recognize.
You'd be happy to run into her or whatever. Who knows? Who knows? It's just a heads up from Mamo Frey. Or any possible people interested in reading Sisso Frey. Not LDG, but anyone else. By the way, LDG at hashtag #FreeTheNet donated $2 and says /underground. Did I say something else? freethenet.org/ Oh, I said backstage, son of a bitch.
I knew that.
freethenet.org/underground. Excuse me. Yes. freethenet.org/underground. And he has moderator power, so he could put in a link if he was so inclined. But thank you. Sorry about that, LDG. Mr. Lundell's Groovy Movie says Kapla. Kapla, Mr. Lundell. Words in Pictures. Words in Pictures says Kapla Bird of Prey. Good to hear you. Good to be here. Thank you for being here, Words in Pictures. Hakeem says, hey, Bird, hope you're feeling better. Hail, Karoga. And chat. Well, I'm a little less worried, Hakeem. I'm a little less worried, feeling better. So. I still having some GI issues, but okay, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I was extremely worried over a very hard growth that I could feel on my backside in a particularly embarrassing area of my backside. And it felt like very hard, like extension of bone. I thought, oh my God, my bones are growing. Like I must have, I don't know what, but I was very scared. And today the doctor came and I had to get in a position so the doctor could feel this particular area. And the doctor finally said, that's a bone. That's a bone. Apparently, since I have lost so much weight, my bony ass had become, well, more bony. And I had never actually particularly felt this bone so close to the skin before. It had always had cushioning from fat cells, but without the fat cells, it was bone and skin. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. But man, I was worried. I was worried for a while there. Anyway, we'll move on. We'll move on. Richie Pools' bird is more than 1 hour late. What else is new? Josh Streets' bird, hope the doc did give you a clean bill of health. Well, not 100%, but what I was most afraid of is apparently just a bone. I still have some new medications to hopefully get my GI tract running. It's some enzymes, some big pills full of enzymes that I have to take with each meal. Hopefully they'll make my GI issues go away. We'll see. We'll see. Sean Cotter says to the Gorillas Random Thoughts, over here we call it Shark Week. Is it Shark Week there? Jedi Bill is doing very well, Bird, like it didn't even happen. Awesome, Jedi Bill. Captain MKG says, cheers, Bird, and everyone in chat. Kapla, Captain MKG. And Richie Bull says, Orlando is starting to sound pretty good. Under normal circumstances, I would give the entire state of Florida a very wide berth, but now I'm not so sure. LDG is lolling at the growth, and he says backside equals butt. That is true. Ms. Lundell says, so is the weight loss a good thing? I've probably lost enough weight at this point. Yes, Mom O'Prey.
Tell Richie.
You're telling Richie. I'm sure he can hear you.
It will really be easy to find Ciso Prey. She'll be the only one in Orlando without a Trump hat on. With that note, I'm leaving. Hello, everybody. Goodbye, everybody.
Sci-Fi Nations is glad it wasn't anything serious, Bird. Happy to hear you're staying on top of your health. Thank you. And Aravic Sonder with a $1 super chat. Thank you so much, Aravic Sonder. Kapla. Did it come through yet? I don't know if it did, but it's there. I appreciate it. So today is, there it is. There it is. I assume that's it. It doesn't, That's weird. It didn't show up.
Live long and prosper.
There we go. Okay. Now it shows up. Cody Guy says happy Friday. John DeMarco says hello and goodbye to Mamo Pray. Sci-Fi Nation lols at Mamo Pray. It is March 31st. Tomorrow is April Fool's Day. And I have absolutely nothing set up for April Fool's Day. So don't be surprised. There's nothing coming. Anyway, so March 31st holidays. I'm not going through all of them. Anesthesia Tech Day, Cesar Chavez Day, Crayola Crayon Day. Although I think they co-opted Crayon Day because it's also Crayon Day. Dance Marathon Day. Enter a dance marathon? No thanks. Eiffel Tower Day. Interesting. You know what annoys me about the Eiffel Tower is that apparently a daytime picture of the Eiffel Tower is completely legal, but somehow, under some ridiculousness of copyright law, any photographs taken of the Eiffel Tower at night are technically copyrighted by the Eiffel Tower Company or something. And technically you don't own. If you take a picture of the Eiffel Tower at night, you technically don't own the picture. I boggled my mind that could be true, but apparently in France, the way their law works, it's true. I can never look at France seriously again. It's International Hug a Medievalist Day. What the hell is a medievalist? Apparently somebody who's really into medieval Europe. So I assume be like, the kind of people that like to go to Renaissance fairs over and over and over again. National Bunsen Burner Day. I've never actually used a real Bunsen burner. In school growing up in the science classrooms, they all had the hookups for the Bunsen burners that were used in like the 1950s, but somewhere, I guess in the 60s or 70s, they had to turn off the gas because kids were leaving the gas turned on, and you didn't want to allow somebody to blow up the school. Clearly, kids became too stupid, too irresponsible to have a natural gas line hooked up to their desks. And so it's no surprise that generation or two after they took away Bunsen burners, they now want to take away natural gas from people, because if we weren't trustworthy enough to have natural gas in our science classes, then we're not trustworthy enough to have natural gas in our homes. You shouldn't be surprised. National Clams on the Half Shell Day. Not really for me, but interesting. National Crayon Day. Yvette donated £2 Thank you, Yvette. And says, fingers crossed for a kissing dax for you all. Oh, thank you, Yvette. But we got Locutus. Thankfully, not kissing. Which, by the way, I assume Locutus will be back somewhere in this Picard. By Picard Season 3, Episode 10. I think we'll see a Locutus cameo. Anyway, National Crayon Day, National Farm Workers Day, National Prom Day. Post a throwback or call up a high school friend. Cherish your unforgettable prom memories. I did not go to my high school prom. It was on a boat, and I had no prom friends, shall we say. No promable friends in high school. I went to a elementary school prom, but yeah, that was it. National She's Funny That Way Day, and also She's Funny That Way Day, not national, but with the same photograph. Richie Poole, with his 7-month Friend of Caroga membership, says Sister O'Prey for president in 2030. Mom O'Prey I'm sure Mom O'Prey would vote for Sister O'Prey. Richie Poole says, yay, it's extremely gratifying to hear Sister O'Prey is not the damn MAGA. He knew it. And another attempt at kissing Dax. Sci-Fi Nation with a $2 donation. Trying again for kissing Dax for Yvette. But it did not happen. Of course, Richie Poole knew. Sis O'Prey, not a Trump fan. Cinnabon Bunny says, what did Bitz say he was concerned about? A huge boner in his backside? No. John DeMarco says hello to Arabic. Josh reaches Bird of Prey. You not having anything for tomorrow is the joke. Miss Londell's Groovy Movie says, so when is Dance Macabre Day? Macabre Day? Dance Macabre? I have no idea. Executive producer Saul Leibowitz says, Kapla Bird of Prey. On April 1st, I would be satisfied with a 30-minute loop of kissing Dax. Unfortunately, I suspect CBS would not be happy with a 30-minute loop of kissing Dax. Arabic Sanders says, Bird of Prey. Renaissance came after the medieval. There are medieval festivals, though. I thought, when I looked it up, I heard that the Renaissance was the latter part of the medieval era. That it was the latter part of medieval, not that it was after medieval. But I don't know. I'm not a biologist. Sci-Fi Nation says, so just wait until you're back in the States to upload it. France fight U.S. copyright. Let France fight U.S. copyright laws. Yeah, but still, it's just not, it's not the same. It's not the same. John Street says, Bird, would the giant guillotine be just as beloved as the Eiffel Tower, which was the other option to be built? I did not know that, Josh Street, but maybe, yeah. Imagine if it was a giant guillotine instead of the Eiffel Tower. 54.5 Access Radio says the French are pushovers. And then they show the national flag of France. The white one. The all white one. John Street says the 54.5 Access Radio says they only became pushovers after taking a trip to Russia in the winter. Words and pictures, as many European countries have strong laws regarding taking photographs. In Spain, you cannot take photos with people is shot without their express permission. Well, that is Spain's fault, or Spain's problem. Daniel's Hot Topics, Kapla, says, "Hi, Bird. Do you hear that there will be a Starfleet Academy show in the 32nd century? I heard that they're planning on a Starfleet Academy show set in the Star Trek Discovery timeline, yes." And Daniel says, "I love the 32nd century, quite simply because Picard and his crew and their descendants have been dead for centuries. I really don't like the next generation." Well, Daniel, you're certainly entitled to your opinion. I suspect most Trek fans feel differently, but you're you. Arabic Saunders says, "Bird, it's because medieval times are sometimes called the Dark Ages, and Renaissance means rebirth or age of enlightenment." Yes, I get that. What I saw is that the medieval period was separated into three periods: the dark, the something, and then the Renaissance. Captain Phantom Nerd says, "Daniel's Hot Topics, I know you're happy about the Section 31 show. I will not be watching. Screw that shit." Arabic Saunders says, "Hey" to Captain Phantom Nerd. And Captain Phantom Nerd says, "Hey" back. It is National Tater Tot Day. National Tater Day, but clearly they're tater tots. Transfer Day. For a price of New York penthouse, the U.S. bought the Virgin Islands. Transgender Day of Visibility. And World Backup Day. But the most interesting day today is Terry's Day. And for those of us of a certain age, we probably remember the unfortunate case of Terry Schiavo. Terry's Day is observed on March 31st every year in honor of Terry Schindler Schiavo. It also marks her death, and it's no coincidence since her passing has caused national controversy involving both politics and the Supreme Court. It brought about an increase in activism in the Right to Die movement, the pro-life movement, and disability rights groups. The day aims to promote education, prayer, activism, and combat discrimination against the disabled. We are invited to learn about the Schiavo and about Schiavo and pray for others who are in similar challenging situations. For those of you who do not remember, on February 25th, 1990, Terry Schiavo, then 26 years old, suddenly collapsed in her Florida home. She suffered cardiac arrest brought upon by complications due to an eating disorder, but she survived, technically. Due to lack of oxygen, she suffered brain damage, resulting in a persistent vegetative state. A feeding tube supplied her with artificial nutrition and hydration. In 1998, 8 years later, her husband and legal guardian said she would not want to be kept alive this way. He wanted to disconnect the feeding tube and let her die, but her parents disagreed. A highly publicized 7-year legal battle between him and Robert and Mary Schindler ensued. Eventually, Florida's Sixth Circuit Court granted Michael's request. For the first time on April 24th, 2001, Terry's feeding tube was removed, only to be put back a few days later. Several appeals as well. Government intervention took place afterward. President George W. Bush even signed legislation referring the case to the federal courts. Though more appeals did take place, the right of a married spouse to make medical decisions on behalf of their partner was upheld. Her feeding tube was disconnected, and she died less than 2 weeks later on March 31st, 2005. For 15 years, this woman was in a persistent vegetative state. And then it took from 1998 to 2005 to have her feeding tube removed. Shivo's case showed we must value the dignity of human life regardless of disability or illness. I'm not sure that is what the final answer was, but whatever. It is hoped that through the observance of Terry's Day, that the woman who became the symbol of the debate between one's right to life or death, will always be remembered. So it is I think it's a pretty interesting day for those of us who remember living through that, seeing it play out on the news. And then I'll be honest, not that, thank God, by the grace of God, I was never in a persistent vegetative state, although some might argue otherwise, but no. It's crazy. It is really, really crazy to me. I remember back thinking at the time that if the parents were so into it, like I was surprised that the husband didn't relinquish his rights and say, fine, you take over, and he would be granted some sort of divorce. But what struck me was that it took years and years and years for him to decide that she wanted to die. Like after 6 months, a year, when it was clear that she wasn't getting better, I thought maybe, I didn't know. But now, as someone who's been through a long illness, I don't know. I don't have the answer. I just hope to never have to deal with that situation. I would say, though, if some time goes by and there's no improvement, just let them go. Depends. If they don't look to be in pain, a week, a month, a year. But if they look like they're in pain, less. John Araki with $1 super chat. Thank you, John Araki. Daniel's Hot Topics says the Changeling stole Picard's body from Daystrom Station. Why would they do that unless they needed his DNA? And why would they need his DNA if not to clone him? I do not believe Locutus will be the big boss. No, I don't think he'll be the big boss. I think that we'll see him being recreated from his body. Dan Ben says, hi, welcome Dan Ben. Aravic says, makes sense. Stan Lee says, I'm stumped in Wordle. Oh yeah, we're going to do Wordle. We're going to do Wordle. Yes, Terry the vegetable. And darn you getting me hooked. Sorry, Stan. Sorry. Executive producer Saul Leibowitz and Bird. When was the last time you had tater tots? Was it with Nephew O'Prey? I can't remember the last time I had tater tots. I don't think it was that long ago. Jedi Bill with the $1.99 super chat. Kapla for kissing Dax. No kissing Dax yet. Sorry. Captain Fandom Nerds of Sci-Fi Nation. There were many episodes on different shows. Oh, Sci-Fi says, I remember Terry's case. I think there was a Law and Order episode based on it. Dan Ben says, in England, we have Terry's chocolate orange. It's chocolate in the shape of an orange. Yes, a different Terry. A different Terry. Stanley says, and they wouldn't allow the plug to be pulled. It wasn't the plug. It was a feeding tube, which, you know, I'll be honest. If you're going to let her die, literally letting her body shut down from lack of food or water, doesn't seem like the best way of letting it happen. I just feel like as a species, we're willing to put our pets to sleep to prevent them from suffering, but we dare not do that to a fellow human being. And I just don't get it. Sci-Fi Nation with a $2 super chat. Praying Dabo for Dax. Playing Dabo for Dax. Come on, kissing Dax. No, not yet. Not yet. Stan Lee says, I feel bad for Michael Schumacher. John Araki says, breaking news. Emperor of Karoga indicted by Manhattan DA over improperly wrapped cardboard. He is expected to surrender himself on Tuesday. Fuck, I will. Stanley says, hasn't there been any real news about him since he hit that tree? Guy makes it through an entire Formula One racing career and gets taken out by a tree on a ski holiday. Sci-Fi Nation says, Captain Phantom Nerd maybe so, but only remembers the one he saw. Stanley says, who paid to keep her on machines anyway? I don't recall. Probably insurance. Dan Ben has never heard of her. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if you're not in the United States.
Who's been holding up the damn elevator?
Aravic Sonda with a $1 super chat. Thank you, Aravic. Oh, JJ Enterprise. Persistent, salty. No, not a persistent, salty aid of state. John Araki. Dan Ben says, I guess she's only remembered in America. Don't they have DNR clauses now? They do. They have DNR. Hold on, guys. You got it.
Hello.
I'm afraid got it. It's just Frey. Sci-Fi Nation said it was probably insurance, which is why I have a clause now. Stanley said Sci-Fi Nation, wasn't that Kevorkian? Dr. Kevorkian. Yeah, he was a different kind of guy. Stanley says, well, did she want anything? She was irresponsive. No, she didn't want, she couldn't talk, she couldn't feel. apparently she couldn't do anything. The doctors say she was completely brain dead. Vegetative state, basically, she was brain dead with no hope of ever recovering. But her parents, her parents wanted to hope. There's always that chance.
Who's been holding up the damn elevator?
As long as somebody's alive, there's always the chance one day they're going to wake up. And thank you, John Araki, with $1 super chat. And, your parents, they don't want to see their kid die. They would do anything they could to keep her alive for as long as they could. And, let me tell you, after a few years, even if you do survive, what wakes up is not going to be the person you remember. They're not going to have any muscles at all left.
Who's been holding up the damn elevator?
It's gonna be rough. Arabic Sonda with $1 super chat. Thank you again, Arabic. But I mean, if she got up, that would be tremendous. She could possibly get through physical therapy, get her life back together. It would take years and years and years, but sure. But if she has no brain, if her brain function is 0, it's extremely unlikely she'll wake up. But it's happened. It has happened that people have woken up. So you say, well, they go on the news and they say, nobody has ever woken up from a persistent vegetative state before. And you look and you're like, okay, that's factually true. Thank you, Jedi Bill. Thank you, Jedi Bill, for $1.99 super chat. So the doctors tell you nobody has ever woken up from a persistent vegetative state, and they have the facts to back it up. But then you say, well, wait, so-and-so was in a persistent vegetative state, and they woke up. And then the doctors will tell you, well, yes and no. They did wake up, but after they woke up, they realized they were never actually in a persistent vegetative state. And you say, well, how do you know they weren't in a persistent vegetative state? And you say, well, by definition, the fact that they woke up meant they were never in a persistent vegetative state. They were wrong. The diagnosis was wrong. So now that person doesn't count as waking up from a persistent vegetative state. That person counts as being misdiagnosed with a persistent vegetative state. So yeah, the doc's like 100%. Nobody ever wakes up from a persistent vegetative state, because if they do wake up, then immediately they were never in a persistent vegetative state. Thank you, Jedi Bill, with another $1.99 super chat. Greatly appreciated. Kapla. Kapla. So it's one of those things. The doctors will tell you nobody ever wakes up from what they have, because if then they say, well, if they do wake up, oh, well, they never had that. We made a mistake. We misdiagnosed it.
Who's been holding up the damn elevator?
Dan Ben says, you always talk about the thing I don't know for the longest. I'm sorry, Dan. Ben. Jedi Bill with another super chat. Thank you again, Jedi Bill. And Sci-Fi Nation with a $2 super chat. Says, Dabo for Dax. Come on, Dax. Ah, man. It's one of those days. It's one of those days. Sci-Fi has been so long, I'd have to look it up. Stanley says, this, we know they are in the dream state. Do they recognize the passage of time? Well, I was in a dream state, and I recognized the passage of time, but it was not a one-on-one time. I mean, I don't know how long I thought time had passed, but it was passing at a different rate. Because, you know, you're not constantly dreaming. The dreams stop and start. But somebody who is brain dead, as Terry Schiavo was, they claim isn't dreaming. Daniel says, yes, it will be the synth Picard versus clone Locutus of Borg. Kapla Dax says, Jedi Bill with another $1.99 super chat. Thank you, guys. Okay. We will make, after Wordle, I will force a kissing Dax. I greatly appreciate the super chats, but I feel bad. I will force a kissing Dax after Wordle. If I get it. No, I'm kidding. I'll force a kissing Dax either way. Either way. Where are we? Star Trek Nitpickers says Cutflaw, all Cutflaw Star Trek Nitpickers. Daniel says maybe a clone Locutus will come back and Kirk.
Damn elevator?
No, Kirk is not being let out. And Dax with a $1.50 donation says, I want a kiss. I need lady love and got eyebrow Dax. Eyebrow Dax. So that's some Dax. That's better than no Dax. And Daniel, Kirk is not coming back. Dan Van says, again, English don't know what tater tots are. Tater tots are fried,
Captain's log, stardate
like potatoes that are
place us some 4 hours
cylinders of shredded potatoes. Shredded potatoes held together in a cylinder shape and fried. And Jedi Bill with a $1.99 super chat. Kapla for Dax. Thank you again, Jedi Bill. Starving is a bit harsh. Yeah. I don't like that's the way that they let her go. John Araki says, why didn't the Borg upgrade Picard's Robo Heart?
Oh, Charlie.
I don't know. Arabic Saunders says, boo, I wanted my Lucky Charm, Morn at least, or to get Shrand. I'll try one more time. Oh, I'm sorry. Cinnabon says, I'm back. I had to buy food before the blizzard arrives. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Blizzard. Daniel's Hot Topic says, why would Vatic want the Titan when her ship, the Shrike, was way superior? That makes no sense. I agree. Also, the Titan, you know, you figure it needs some crew. Her ship, you know, her crew knows what to do. Does her crew know how to use the Titan? The Traveler asks, what's a blizzard? It's a drink they have at Dairy Queen. Sci-fi Star Trek Nitpickers says, who's been holding up the damn elevator? Yes, that is one of the super chats. Sci-fi Nation says, Vatic wanted Jack Crusher. Cinnabon says, shut up, traveling Wesley. The Traveler says, sorry guys, I farted in the elevator. That's why Dax won't come up. Stan Lee says, I saw Awakenings. Stan Lee says, and they even did it on House, MD. John Larroquette was fine. He had a steak and went to Atlantic City. And Sci-Fi Nation with another $2 super chat says, as Worf would say, force this, kapla. Daniel says, Bird, who is Vatic talking to in the Shrike? The floating skull. I think Vatic is talking to Satan. You can even hear the other changelings in the background chanting, "Hail Satan." I don't think it's Satan. I think it's a Borg. A temporary vegetative state, says Stan Lee. The traveler says, Bird, so what you're saying is doctors are lying. Is Beverly a liar? Well, she certainly isn't entirely truthful. Gorilla's Random Thoughts is like in Miss March. I'm not sure I get that. Like in Miss March. Arabic Saunders says Locutus is a cock blocker. Deej, hey Deej, says I live every day in a vegetative state. Harder. Deej, I thought you were tornado hunting today. Did you hunt any tornadoes? Harder is the 5-letter word. No, harder is 6 letters. Stanley says like the inner light. Indeed, is saying harder. Richie Poole says to Deej, hey Richie. Cinnabon says boner. Boner, okay, boner it is. Boner it is. The Deej says boner is better. Stanley says nothing fits, my vocabulary is bad. Small hash browns, says Stanley. Moxley fan says, I made it, Kapla. Hope you and the family are doing well today. We the people. We the people indeed. Ms. Londell, whose groovy movie says poise. I would love to do poise, Mr. Londell, but we gotta go with boner. Deej says blizzard. I got tornado warnings going off over here. And Deej says I just got a warning about 25 minutes ago, but the damn thing is already well past me. Okay. Boner. We are starting Wordle with boner. We have E and R in the wrong space. Okay. So there's no O, no N, and no B. Let's see. Let's try meats. Meats. Tell us if there's more than one E. That will tell us. Also give us a decent chance of finding an E in the correct place and take out M, T, and S. And yes, okay, there are 2 E's and 1 E is in the correct place. Okay. Okay, interesting. The 2 E's are not together. So the E is either, we have an E in the middle, and an E is either the first or last letter. And we have an R, and the R is not the last letter. So let's R is the first letter, and we know the next letter is not E, then we have an E, then we know it's not E, and we know it's not R either. So that would be E. Okay. Okay, I can immediately see there's no word R consonant E consonant E. Okay. Um, okay. So E is at the start. And then we have an X, meaning we don't know what the word is, letter is. Then we have an E. Then we don't know what the letter is. And then it would probably be a Y. It'd probably be a Y. And we have an R in here. So EREXY. Erexy. Ear, a kwai, a wari, a wary, a rui, erepi, erect, erisi, eredi, 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 effi, eregi, erachi, erjeri, erkirki, erleli, eerily, early, no, erzili, erexi, Kelly, Irvi, Irvi, Irvi. Okay, let's uh let's try and see. Let's see if that is a Y. We'll see if it's a Y, and we'll try some other vowels. P-O-I, pointy. No, it's no O. No O, A. A. Veiny, veiny. No. Pain, painy, pain. Uh, 80. Veiny. Okay, we've got a Y at the end, and we got a V, not at the beginning. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Ev, ev, yes. Oh, every. Everybody dance now. Boom, boom, shaboom, shaboom. Everybody dance. We got it. Got it in 4.
Next week.
Okay. What do we got? What do we got? No, we're going to do porno. Sci-Fi says maybe the storm getting tonight. Star Trek Nitpicker says Bird of Prey. I nitpick your nitpicks in my review that just came out. Hope you're feeling better. Oh, thank you, Star Trek Nitpickers. I will check it out later. Deed says, yes, Sci-Fi Nation. I'm shipping them down your way. 54.5 Access Radio says to stay safe. To Deej. Daniel says, wasn't that creepy when 7 of 9 found out it wasn't real Tuvok? Fake Tuvok started smiling darkly when she figured it out. Stanley says, I got the last 3 letters and still can't solve the thing. Oh, well, I hope you have now, Stanley. Sci-Fi Nation says, I don't doubt it, Deej. Miss Lundell's groovy movies says fiery. Cinnabon says excellent. Daniel says it was 25% different Tuvok. Didn't his ears look different? His ears looked bigger than Tuvok's ears. I don't know. Gorilla says Bunny gave us the blizzard warning also, but only an inch of snow. Stanley says, I hate when the do 2 letters. I hate when the do 2 letters. I think you mean when they do 2 letters? When they do repeat letters. Stanley says, finally got it. Yeah, he says, finally got tit. Thanks. You're welcome for the tit. I'd be happy too. I'd be happy too if I got tit. Sci-Fi Nation says meter. Ew, says Dan Ben. And Sci-Fi says, oh no, my bad. Stanley says, Sci-Fi Nation, E is in the wrong spot with meter. Richie Poole says, I am going for erect. Fitting since he started with boner. Damn, lol, says Dan Ben. Sci-Fi says, not for a meter that measures electricity, gas, or water. Stanley says, needs an R. Cody Guy says, entry. So close, says Sean Carter. Stanley says, CT, lol. Boner / erect, says Stanley. Sean Carter says, erect, ha ha ha. Says, oh, no T and no N. Executive producer Saul Leibowitz says, urine. Urine? I'm out. Stanley says, that took all 6. Sean says, no, so close. Cody Guy says, query. Words and pictures got it at every. Stanley says, no O, no N. He is in the right place. Augur, says Sci-Fi Nation. Stanley says, E, 2 E's. 2 E's. Mr. Lundell says, Painy. What the fuck? I'm sorry. I was trying. Sci-Fi says, okay, Bob's are right. Both are right. Stanley says, 2 E's and an R. Captain Fan of Nerds says, every fucking time. Daniel's Hot Topic says, some saw the PA rats coming. The Pirates coming back. I love DS9 and the Pirates. Daniel, I just watched the Pirate, one of the Pirate episodes with DS9 where Gul Dukat started the Pirate cult on Empok Nor, and they kidnapped Kira. We are a transporter beam all the way from Empok Nor, DS9 to Empok Nor via transporter. I mean, I just think if I was watching that episode today in my, nitpicking mode, how much I would yell and scream about the ridiculousness of a transporter beam that can transport you all the way from Empok Nor. Like if they have that part of transporter tech, they might as well just give up on starships and just transport everywhere. Like, what's the point? What's the point of having ships? Okay, you have to have one ship to go out and figure out where the planets are. But once you found out where the planets are, you just transport there. Anyway, still, it was a good episode. Stanley says, I took 6. The double E stumped me. Yeah, always be on the lookout for double letters. You always have to be on the lookout for the double letters. That's right. When I'm doing this, and I try to use the letters I already have over again, because they like to get you. They like to get you with that. Arabic, Captain Phantom Nerd says, Arabic, I got it in 3. Sci-Fi Nation says, I see yellow right letter, but green is in the right spot. Exactly. LDG got it in 5. Daniel's Hot Topic says, do you think Worf will kill any more people this season and send them to Greator and Fricklar? Probably. Stanley says, yeah, he had the Alfred E. Tuvok years. Ms. Lundell says, it doesn't matter. It wasn't Tuvok anyway. Yeah, but they're saying Tuvok is still alive, though he's going to welcome death. I'm guessing that they're going to actually, I don't know if we're going to see Tuvok again, or we're just going to hear that Tuvok got rescued, because I doubt they're going to kill Tuvok off. But I'll be honest, at this point, with so many people in the Federation or in Starfleet already replaced by changelings, it's like what do you even left? What is there left to save? What is there left to save? Just leave. Take the ship and just go as far away as you can. Go into the Delta Quadrant. Go find that human colony that was in the Delta Quadrant and start over there. Daniel says, I love Worf. He is so great. Klingons are very long-lived. Do you think he'll make it to the 26th century? No, I do not, Daniel. 47 Yorktown says, Miss Lundell, both of them, Worf. Stanley says, will you find the places? Guess you can use probes for that. Yeah, you could send probes. You don't even need ships. I wonder how hard it is to locate a starship in open space in Trek. Mr. Lundell says LDG cheated. Stan Lee says they would have to scan the specific region, or can they sense some sort of signal? That's a good question. Stan Lee says, yeah, they would need to keep all of the solid bodies alive. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like, why would they keep all these people alive? Why would Tuvok tell them about the Calto games? I mean, Tuvok has some of the greatest mental discipline of anyone in Starfleet. If they could break him, then what's the point? Like, why even fight? They're clearly going to win. Dan Ben says, yeah, Dominion used a long-range transporter that works over light years. Dan Ben says that. And Daniel says, we need a Klingon Empire spin-off with Worf. You're not going to get Klingon Empire spinoff because it's too expensive. You might get Worf and Rafi. You might get a Worf and Rafi spinoff. That would be it. Anyway, let's check out. Let's check out what the news. Ridiculousness. Trump campaign uses newly restored Facebook page to fundraise off of indictment. It is such a travesty of justice that a state can indict a former president. Boggles the mind. I don't think it should be allowed. I think a former president should only be able to face charges in federal court. I know it's different and say, well, they have different laws than everybody else. Yes, to be frank, they should. They should have protections. Gizmodo says Italy bans ChatGPT, says it will investigate OpenAI. Yeah, Italy bans ChatGPT, says it will investigate OpenAI. It's crazy. I guess LDG is not going to Italy anytime soon. Earth, the earliest supermassive black hole ever found, has just been spotted. Miranda Lambert reveals her desire to appear on Yellowstone. I don't know who that is. And we have the Arkansas tornado coverage. Tornado touches down in Metro Little Rock as rare high-risk storm alert. Wow. Let him go. Joe Biden calls on Russia to release U.S. journalist. At a Nashville hospital, the agony of not being able to help school shooting victims. Pope Francis visits pediatric oncology ward. At hospital, baptizes newborn baby. He's in the hospital himself. New rules will make many electric cars ineligible for tax credits. Not surprised. Let's see. Here's what went wrong with Virgin Orbit. Virgin had a problem with their rocket. Let's see. Gwyneth Paltrow ski trial. I heard about that. Google AI researcher resigns after learning Bard uses data from ChatGPT. Engadget watchers try to break Google Bard and Bing AI. So I have Skype and Bing AI said hello to me. So I have one of my Skype contacts is now the Bing AI. So I can message Bing AI like I was messaging any contact on Skype. And it writes back to me. It's like I have a new friend. So, of course, I asked it the first thing I could think of. I said, can you define what a woman is? And it did. It gave a pretty decent description of what a woman is. So the Bing AI is better at defining a woman than our latest Supreme Court justice. Bazinga! ChatGPT just got banned in parts of Europe. Isn't it supposed to be a gold rush? Picard Season 3 showrunner Terry Matalas breaks down Episode 7. Oh no! Star Trek's new Dominion War twist reveals the Borg's secret role. Oh wow, we're gonna check that out. So let's see. What did Terry Matalas? What did that no good? I'm sorry. What did that thin-skinned Terry Matalas have to say? He also spoke about the high-stakes scene between Picard and Beverly, where their moral compass is questioned. It's only high stakes if I give a shit. There was nothing high stakes about it because I didn't care. Star Trek Picard's third and final season is creeping ever closer to a finish line as Episode 7, aptly titled Dominion, brings Jean-Luc Picard face to face with Vadic. Capturing Vadic comes with a moral cost. You didn't capture her. She captured you. Anyway, Dominion feels like the first half of a movie, with the final moments leaving audiences on the edge of their seat. No, I don't know what they watched. Waiting for whatever lies ahead in Episode 8, especially now that Vadic has taken control of the Titan. Collider had the opportunity to chat with Picard showrunner Terry Matalas. Oh, I got to do Kissing Dax. Okay, we're going to do Kissing Dax. Then we're going to come back to this. I apologize. I promise this. Here we go. Look at that. This is my favorite scene. This is today, the Transgender Day of Visibility. And although Dax I wouldn't consider transgender, I mean the symbiont has gone from both female to male to female to male to male to female again. So I assume, you know, in a way the symbiont is trans. So I think playing this clip on a Trans Day of Visibility is a perfectly valid way of celebrating trans people. So you're welcome. In fact, I think I am so into trans visibility, we're gonna play it again. This is what it means to support trans lives. Okay, hashtag trans lives matter. Okay, just suck it in, sniff it. Yeah. Suck it in. There you go. Hashtag trans lives matter. Okay, moving on. Collider had the opportunity to chat with Picard's showrunner, Terry Matalas, to break down the high anxiety episode, discuss those epic leather jackets. Wow, some of the crew are sporting, and delve into Picard and Beverly's do or die thought process. Yeah, okay, blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah. My first question is about the costume change at the top of the episode. What happened between episode 6 and 7 that had 7 and Shore be like, I'm going to put on these badass leather jackets that were on the run. Now that we're on the run now outfit? Terry Matalas. That's exactly what it is. So we call them field jackets, and they're not quite Starfleet uniforms. They're kind of ready for anything, was the look. Any minute you might need to beam off the ship and get into some rough and tumble. That was the idea, and they're just cool. They're so cool. what is funny is everyone wanted these jackets. We started it with Rafi, and then every one of these actors saw one of these things and saying, I want one, and then no one wanted to give them up. We wrapped up the show, and everyone tried to take them home, and Paramount would literally go to people's houses and take them back. True story. Oh, I love that. I always wonder if studios actually did show up and say, give us what you took. Metalis. No, they did. They did. Everybody just wanted their jackets. Oh, God, that's too funny. How much time has passed between these two episodes? Because it seems like maybe they tried a couple of avenues of getting information. Well, geez, they said 48 hours at the end of last episode. Then they say 36 hours at the beginning of this episode. So I'm going to go out on a wild hunch and say about 12 hours have passed. Metalis. Yeah, I think it's been a couple of days. But a couple of sleepless days of trying to reach out to new friends and family while being on the run. You stupid schmuck, Metalis. You can't do your own fucking math. You said 48 hours at the end of last episode, and then at the beginning of this episode, you're 36 hours away from Frontier Day. And you estimate a couple of days. A couple of days. You stupid schmuck. And those doors were knocking at, essentially going down different avenues to find people, most of them changelings they ran into, or just this one, Metalis. The way we rationalized it is, when you're on a starship far enough into space, it's not like you can just pick up your cell phone and call your friends that are on certain subspace relays that are monitored by Starfleet. Reaching out to admirals or people within Starfleet are certainly monitored by lower-ranking individuals that could be compromised or traced. So it's not easy to get a hold of someone, but you see quickly that there are some Hail Marys coming. Wow, Terry, because Beverly Crusher got a hold of Captain Picard fairly easily enough at the beginning of your show. Or maybe you forgot. Okay, I know as a Voyager girly, I was so happy with the opening scene, and that was Tuvok. He was definitely on my wish list. Could it happen? Maybe. Who knows? Metalis. So good. It was so good. What went into the process of getting Tim Russ back as Tuvok? Calling him. Was he eager? Well, it's also that he's the perfect character to do it because he is Vulcan, and so, as in he or isn't he, inherent in how he's going to portray the character, and there's something so juicy and delicious about a reveal being a smile for a Vulcan, and then they had a very special relationship, Tuvok and Seven, and I love a Vulcan, and someone has worked on Voyager back in the day. Tim Russ was just a wonderful human being, so it was just a perfect opportunity for that. I have to really commend the music cues. During the machine, there's a moment that the music sounds so hopeful. You think maybe this really is Tuvok. Maybe time paused. Maybe time passed and he's a little different. And then it turns. Yes, when Voyager theme comes on, you drop your guard, you feel the warm swell of emotion and reconnection. And then what I love is Seven's really clever. And she's like, I'm going to give this one more try. I need to be really sure it's him. And that's, again, one more step into being suitable for a captain of a starship. I'm not truly convinced, and then tries it one more time, and that's when she's got him. She learned from the best. She learned from the best, yeah. The changeling when he turns into Riker is so unsettling. I'm curious to know what the process was like with the HMU and deciding how creepy to go. Were there different versions for that makeup? Because it's just so good. No, we said, give me zombie Frakes, and he was fully on board with it, and that's what we did. Oh my God. Skipping some stuff. Oh yeah, I love the scene so much because I'm a huge sucker for a good ship, and I definitely checked the little flirtation in the previous episodes. So this made me very happy. But what can you tease for? I think Twitter has minted it as La Crush for the ship name. What are we talking about? Alan Wise able to get in mind of young Sidney LaForge. I love that scene because I'm a huge sucker for a good ship, and I definitely checked the little flirtation the previous episode. This made me happy. But can you tease? Oh, I think Twitter has minted it La Crush for the ship name. Yeah, a fan came up with that. It was brilliant. It's so smart. Yeah, well, look, it's not a romantic season for Jack, Sydney, for Seven and Rafi, for Riker and Troy, Picard and Beverly. But there are definitely elements of attraction that we're seeing here. The beginning of a connection that could continue on if we ever were to continue on. Wow. Okay. I can't do the voice anymore. And frankly, I don't think there's anything that interesting here. Okay. Go back to chat. Oh, was it not on screen? Son of a bitch. You know what? I think it's fine. I don't think anybody cares. I don't think anybody cares. Let's see what's going on. The Travelers was Bird of Prey. So you have a boner fart growing down there. Jedi Bill says, I want to know about that supermassive black hole. Well, it's supermassive. Deej says, hey, Bird, I just DM'd you on Twitter of the tornado south of me. Wow. Thank you, Deej. Star Trek Nitpicker says, in all truth, I caught Gwyneth checking me out when I worked at a store in NYC once. No lie. Good for you, Star Trek Nitpickers. Michael Sullivan, Kapla says, hello, Bird of Prey. Picard Season 3 has delivered us an extension of Alex Kurtzman's rule over New Drek. I've heard those rumors, Michael, and best I can tell, it appears to me that Alex Kurtzman's contract was renewed a couple of years ago or a year and a half ago. I don't see anything suggesting that his contract renewal had anything to do with Picard Season 3. Now, I know there's people who have a different opinion, and if they have some source that they can show, I have no, but from what I can see, and I remember us being told this last year, that Kurtzman was already renewed. So I honestly don't think Picard season 3 caused Kurtzman to be renewed. But did it play a role in them deciding to do more Trek? Maybe. But if Picard season 3 was the reason, then you would think they would do a Picard spinoff. The fact that they're doing a Discovery spinoff makes me think that it really had nothing to do with it. But that's just my opinion, and I have no way of proving it. Dan Ben didn't see anything about the Borg in episode 7. Pop Culture Curator says, Kapla Bird, hope you're doing well. Kapla Pop Culture Curator. Star Trek Nitpicker says, I only tune in for kissing Dax. Dan Van says, it's been said the last 2 episodes of season 3 should have been in a cinema. Well, lots of things have been said, Dan Van. That doesn't really mean anything. Stan Lee says, symbionts can really be trans. Absolutely. I love the part when the short one goes back for more. I love it too, Stan Lee. In fact, let's check it out again. So there it is. There it is. She goes back. Oh my God. Hashtag trans visibility. Stanley says, wonder how many takes the director had to do to get it just right. I'm guessing dozens of takes. In fact, I suspect the director had to come in and practice with both of them, and then practice with both of them at the same time, and then recorded it. I know I would have. Dan Van says she has the memories of being with men and women. Yes, she does. Stanley, girls, I think we need to do that one more time. Oh, there was a problem with the lighting. Let's do it again. Miss Londell says, hashtag Terry had more fun in that scene than she should have. Oh, yes, Terry Farrell, not Terry Metalis. Stanley says, oh, forgot to remove the lens cap. Sorry, girls, got to do that scene again. Sorry. Stanley says, check the gate. Turn in the gate. Damn, okay, let's do it again. Star Trek Nitpicker says, Bird as Metalis. Too funny. Daniel's Hot, I don't know what Terry Metalis sounds like, so I just picked a voice. Daniel's Hot Topic says, the Cardassians have the Obsidian Order, the Romulans have the Tal Shiar. What do the Klingons have? The Order of the Batleth. No, I forget what it is. They really don't have, as far as we know, something equal to the Obsidian Order. But there was that day that when Sisko and O'Brien and Odo all pretended to be Klingons and went with Worf to go find out. They thought Gowron was the changeling. It turned out to be Martok. But they were inducting people into the Order of Kahless or the Order of the Batleth or something. I would say that was maybe similar. John DeMarco says, this is the power of math, people. Mild Bird Rant says 47. Yorktown. Stargate, the Goa'uld have no sex, gender, and they choose whether they want to be a man or a woman. Interesting, says Dan Ben. Daniel says, why did Terry Matalas block you, Bird? You're awesome. Well, thank you, Daniel. I don't know why Terry blocked me. Todd Jenny says, happy Friday. Happy Friday, Todd. The Traveler says, how could anyone block Bird? They will pay for that. John DeMarco says, good job at not answering the question, Terry. Todd Jenny says, Terry got the whole gang back together, according to Doug Drexler. So best trek ever since disco was breach birth. Stanley says, and Tim was willing to work for craft services. Sean Carter says, okay, folks, got to start my night job. We'll catch up with you all later for FNF, Friday Night Frolics. Kapla, Sean Carter. Tyler Jenny says, why do we listen to idle gossip? We should get lives. Yes. How do we know this isn't Zombie Bird? You'll have to take my word for it. Captain Phantom Nerd says, Terry track sucks. Member berries of moments and music that remind people of Trek. Todd Jenny says, make Trek great again, eh? Absolutely. Mitka. Midga. Mitka. Dan Ben would rather have a new Star Trek show with new reference. Uh-oh. It jumped. It jumped. Would you rather have a new Star Trek show they never referenced or mention anything previously? No. No, just want it to be done responsibly. The Traveler says, I missed a bit. What is Bird even talking about? I have no idea. The Traveler is just here for the Dear Bops. Well, we'll be citing the Dear Bops in a second. Jedi Bill says it was your news feed that you had up. Star Trek Nitpicker says, I can't stop generating AI images. Is there an AI anonymous? AIA. There should be. Dan Ben says, Bird of Prey 5, the audiobook. Daniel says, you know what I'm worried about is that they renewed Alex Kurtzman's contract. They will keep him and Bad Robot on board for 7 more years. What happens in 7 years when Paramount CBS decides for whatever reason they want to split from Bad Robot and Alex Kurtzman, it means that CBS Paramount will have to reboot Trek. We should be so lucky. Executive producer Saul Leibowitz says, Kissing Dax. How many takes for Kissing Dax? Not enough. And executive producer Saul Leibowitz became a member. Sci-Fi Nation gifted a membership. Thank you so much, Sci-Fi Nation. Sci-Fi Nation gifted a membership, and executive producer Saul Leibowitz gets the Sci-Fi Nation membership. Very much appreciated. Dan Ben says, Canon Klingon Intelligence was the intelligence gathering agency of the Klingon Empire. Deej says, Terry Blackbird after he heard him sing. Maybe. Anyway. Okay. We will be doing Dear Bop in just a second. Oh my God, Deej. So Deej sent a photo. Look at this, guys. Look at this. This is a photo just south of Deej of a giant tornado. Holy shit. Did you take that photo, Deej? That is one serious looking tornado. That is That is too close for comfort. It's not Gelogia time yet, traveler. Okay. The traveler says, get out the hang glider. Dan Van says, not the movie Twister. Oh, yeah, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. Okay. So to the Dear Bops. To the Dear Bops. Traveler says, Deej, please be safe. Absolutely. Sci-Fi says, damn, looks like an F5. Yeah. Miss Lundell says an F4 at least. Jedi Bill says it's like an F3. I like how we're all meteorologists. Deej says I'm ready for round 2. That will hit in about an hour or so. Sad dino in tornado time. No, Deej. No, don't go out as a dinosaur. Okay. Dear Bob, what is your opinion on people who brag? I find it very annoying. It depends what they're bragging about, right? I mean, if you're bragging about, see, I don't like it when people brag about something that they should that should just be expected. Like if somebody brags, like, I cut my grass today. Well, congratulations. Do you want a cookie? But, yeah, I guess it depends. I mean, if they have like 100 acres and they cut all their grass, I guess that's, I mean, if somebody brags like, I climbed Mount Everest, I'd be like, yeah, fuck you, buddy. I don't give a shit. But if they're like, hey, you heard of, cancer? I cured it today. So yeah, we don't ever have to worry about cancer anymore. I handed over all my research and the cure, it's going to be free. It only costs 2 cents to make, and they're going to give it out to everybody for free. I don't like to brag, but I'm the guy who cured cancer. If they want to brag, I guess I could accept it. I could deal with it. It really depends on the brag. The person probably brags about how they don't like bragging, says Dan Van. Sci-Fi Nation says Weather Girl Katie is good peeps. Indeed, says I'm in communication with Katie with radar and pics. We are discussing it all. Excellent. Excellent. Jedi Bills has just remembered, Deej, there is no place like home. And Berto Frey 5 will get your little dog too. Wow. Dear Bob, thank you. Go to Berto Frey on YouTube. That is the screen that comes up after you submit a Dear Bob. Dear Bob, what do you prefer in Star Trek? A series about exploring and discovering new life, or a character-focused series? Definitely the first. Exploring and discovering new life. I really want a Star Trek that starts out again with this, to search out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man's gone before. So really similar to Strange New Worlds, but I want it done well, unlike Strange New Worlds. Dear Bob, what do you think of this food I don't know what to think, if it's okay or disgusting. Should I try this? Reddit pizza crimes. America's Best Value Pizza has landed in the UK. Chips, fish, tartar sauce, salt and vinegar crust, mushy peas, Little Caesars United Kingdom. I would stay far away from Little Caesars. Little Caesars, it's basically, okay, to be honest, I don't think I've ever had Little Caesars pizza, so I can't tell you for sure. But my impression of it is that it's basically like lunchroom pizza in public schools. I mean, the whole point of Little Caesars is the pizza's already ready when you come in the store, and it's sitting under hot lights. So it only takes a minute for them to put it into a box and give it to you. I don't think it can be that good. Dear Bob, well, we searched the yard and we now have a special present from Cujo and Buddy sent to the New York Garbage Commissioner for you. I don't know what that means. Cujo and Buddy? Dear Bob, where is the Carogan militia meeting for the Second Civil War? No, there is no such militia meeting. This is fake news. Government, please ignore. That said, the second Tuesday of every month, the Bird O'Prey 5 members only chat meets. There may or may not be a Carogan militia meeting. Seems like we're getting double bops. Dear Bop, this is not the bird of prey you're looking for. Okay. It is a bird of prey. Dear Bop, so where can we find the towel video, you know, for educational purposes? That would be on Deej's channel. You'd have to talk to Deej. Deej says tennis balls help me forget about cancer. 54.5 Access Radio says say 9 to tennis balls. Yes, Deej, good one, says Jedi Bill. Should I eat that? If you mean the pizza, I would say no, Dan Ben. Dear Bob, caption this. It's from Menaja Troy. I would caption it, no thank you, and sure, why not? No thank you to Troy's mom. But yeah, I would, if Troy wanted to move her hands, I'd look. Dear Bop, did your mother want a girl when you were born? No. Mom O'Fray was very happy. Her first child was a boy. And she's still happy. Miss Lundell says Cujo and Buddy sounds like dog names. Probably a couple of scruffy, flea-bitten hound puppies. Dear Bob, Futurama, what is your favorite episode? What episode is the worst? And what episode did you not understand? Favorite episode, The Luck of the Fryish. Worst episode. Ooh, that's a tough one. Honestly, I can't think of one offhand. And that I didn't understand. I'm pretty sure I understood them all. So, sorry, 1 for 3. Dear Bob, favorite book. Wait, I've never seen you read a book. So you don't need to answer that question. Next. Yeah, I don't read as much. I used to read. When, it's funny, when Enterprise ended and there was no Star Treks on TV, for a couple of years, I read Star Trek book after Star Trek book. My favorite of the Trek books was probably K-less. But anyway, actual favorite book of all time. Well, it's a tie, and they're both Michael Crichton books. Jurassic Park and Disclosure. I really like Disclosure, the book. The movie, yeah. I like all. Michael Crichton was like my favorite author. I read Sphere, Disclosure, Andromeda Strain. I did not particularly like. I thought it was overrated. But most of his other stuff I really enjoyed. Jedi Bill says, can we get a Mamo Prey tale today? I don't know. She's got a short one. Okay. A short one. Murder Hornet says, yo, welcome, Murder Hornet. Whenever Mamo Prey is ready. Dear Bob, opinion on this Trump arrest news, but you only have less than 5 minutes. Tell us, as some people don't want a long answer. Okay, the quick answer is, I don't know or care so much if he committed this alleged crime. I do not think a previous president, be they Democrat or Republican or independent third party, should be able to be indicted by a state or city government. I know that's a separate, that was like, oh no, you're saying that president should have a different legal system? Yes. Yes. Once you've obtained the presidency of the United States, you should no longer be subject to the same issues as everyone else, because it's just not fair. It is not right that somebody who's responsible for the entire country, they might be put in a position where a certain state or city is going to be very, very angry with them. And they shouldn't have to second guess they shouldn't have to second guess their decisions as president on which state might arrest me after my term is over. So they shouldn't, yeah. So listen, they should still be able to be brought up on federal charges, but I think by definition, any federal charges involving a former president should have to take place in the Supreme Court. That's just it. If it's not big enough to be taken up in the Supreme Court, then it's not really a crime we have to worry about. And I don't think states or cities should have any right to be able to prosecute a former president. Okay, and here is Mamo Frey for a short Mamo Frey tour.
A very short one. I'll walk around.
Okay.
Hi, guys, and probably Yvette. I don't know who's here, but hello, everyone. This is a short tale that happened the other night, and I don't know when it happened, if Bird was on someone's stream, and you might already know. But about 10 o'clock at night, I don't know, about 3 nights ago. Well, I know that Bird has mentioned the neighbor that had traps put out for wildlife. Remember, we are in the middle of New York City, but the outer borough of Queens. So it's not all that much city here. But we usually don't have wildlife. And when a couple of weeks ago, this same neighbor asked me if I could please stop feeding the birds because they brought wildlife to her property. I honestly thought she was a little loony. I had never really seen wildlife here, and the birds and the couple of squirrels that I feed, I just, instead of feeding them near her side of the property, I just started feeding them right smack in the middle, right outside the front door, so that neither neighbor could really complain. Anyway, a few days after that, I see she has traps in the backyard. And then I see somebody pull up and bring a trap out to the front. And I see what's ever in it. Then I look, it's a raccoon and it's still moving. I said, oh, poor baby. So the gentleman came. I said, no, this guy is fine. I said, are you an animal rescue? He said, yes, we are. And he put the raccoon in the cage in his truck, and he came over and he spoke to me and he gave me his card. And I felt a little better that she wasn't killing small animals in the yard or poisoning them. I was afraid if there were poison in the traps, the wind blows and something comes onto our side of the fence where Sassy could get it. So with that said, I know she's not really crazy. She does have wildlife. She still may be crazy, though. So about 10 o'clock at night, the other night, I walk out, and I'm just closing the door behind me, and I see somebody walking, like, kind of zigzagging across the street. But it's dark, and I really didn't know whether it was a male, female, but this is just a few seconds, and next thing I know, they stop directly across from me with turn a flashlight on right in my eyes. And so, not being too bright, without thinking what I was about to do, I just yelled out, "What the hell are you doing?" And I got, "Oh, I'm sorry. There's a raccoon on my roof." I realized it was my neighbor, and she was trying to point the flashlight up on her roof. So I said to her, "Another one?" Yes, she said. And she said, I didn't know you were there. I said, that's okay, I didn't know it was you. Anyway, I said, how does she know there's a raccoon on her roof? I really, but I came in the house. Sure enough, the next day, the rescuer is back. He puts trap down. And then the next day, the trap is full. There's another raccoon in it. So obviously...
A big one.
Yeah, that one was a big one. Obviously, she's not as nuts as I thought. And she has wildlife. She does not have a fence, though I don't know if raccoons can climb chain link fences. Probably can. But I have not had any issues with anything other than seeing birds and squirrels. I don't know what, though for years, her, what do you call that? By the side of the near the gutter, the part of the house,
The gutter.
well, between the gutter and the house. There was big openings. Her gutter was falling, and I'm not saying for 10 minutes. It was that way for years. She might have raccoons living in her attic. I have no clue. Because the opening was big enough that animals could get in. So, anyway, that's my mammal prey, wildlife, bird. I still feed the birds and the squirrel. Because now I don't want the squirrels going into the traps. So if a squirrel comes up, which they do every morning, I make sure I throw some peanuts at them, unsalted. And that's my Friday night tale. Not very interesting, not very long, but I hope you got something out of it. With that, I'm going to say, everybody, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and have a good night.
Thank you, Mama Pray.
You're welcome, son.
And the Traveler says, Mama Pray, the best mom
thank
in
you.
all of Corona. And John DeMarco says, hail, Mama Pray. No, not bear traps, cage traps. Humane cage traps. Murder Hornet says he had pet rats. They're smart. Okay. For a very short time in my life, when I was dating someone for several months, and I was at peak confidence level, the type of time where you have a girlfriend, you have another girl who's interested in being your girlfriend, kinda, and it's like, and so girls are just throwing themselves at you kind of time. And so I was in the city working for with my company at this very fancy Manhattan hotel, and we had hired these models to model some clothing that we were doing for the new Jaegerettes. So they hired professional models to come in, and there was me and one of the other guys. We were hanging out like in the backstage area. So the models just came over to sit with us for a while and talk while they were waiting to get called up on stage. And like the other guy was there, I thought was one of the cooler guys in the office. He was not a high-ranking guy. He was technically he was the mailroom clerk, but he had been in the Marines. He was a relatively young guy. He was a cool guy, and then there was me, the relatively shy, quiet engineer type. But and then there were these models, and they were drop dead. I mean, they were New York models from New York City, professional models. So they were not unattractive. But they were talking, and like one of the girls asked me, it's like, so like, you know, they're like, what do you do? I go, I'm an engineer. He's like, oh, an engineer, you say, and for this company. And she was like, oh, she's like, so what do you like to do? I was like, at the time, like, I like to I like to Jeep. I like to hike. I like to this. And she's like, oh, you're outdoorsy, huh? And she's like, yeah. She's like, and she was like, kind of flirting with me. And I'm like, holy shit. For one time in my life, there's an attractive, like, drop dead, gorgeous woman flirting with me, but I have a girlfriend. So I can't do anything. And so I'm like, yeah, I guess I am kind of outdoorsy. And she's almost daring me, like as close as I ever come to have a woman to like basically like, so ask me for my number, because this was still in the day. Okay, this was before whatever it's called, Tinder, and before that. I mean, they still had eHarmony and Match.com, but most of the other stuff didn't exist. And you would still ask people for their phone number. You know, you didn't ask them for their text or their email address or whatever. Point was, she was basically like, you know, come on, and I didn't. One thing was because I already had a girlfriend. Granted, I wasn't 100% into this woman, but I knew that I just needed some experience, some long-term relationship experience. And I didn't pretend with her that we were going to get married or anything. I just was like, okay. But anyway, the point being, the other reason that this hot model kind of skeeved me out, I mean, she was very attractive, but she had pets. Oh, what pets do you have? And she said she had pet rats. And immediately she went from like a 9.5 to like a 4. Like, oh no. Like, ooh, that immediately I was like, oh God. The thoughts of rats crawling over her and shit. And she's like the rat queen or something. No. I was like, oh God. Did not want. Meanwhile, the guy who's there, he's like, I can't, he thought, he's like, I can't believe that you have women throwing themselves at you. And you're like, you're turning them away. And I'm like, you don't understand. This has never happened before in my life. We never hung out before. He's like, yeah, I'm sure. It never happened before. I was like, no, it really never has. So he thought like my whole life was women throwing themselves at me, and I had to like keep them away. And yeah. Anyway. Travelers with Bird had a girlfriend. Yeah, a few short months. They must have liked Bird for his money, maybe brains. Maybe, probably some of both. Ross Dog's Broken Spirit says, at the time Bird would have had to say, said to question, I don't need your fantasy women. Oh, said to Q. Say to Q. Yeah, Q. I don't need your fantasy women. I would take his powers, though. Ms. Londell's Groovy Movie says tomorrow, Cinema Sunday, Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central. Be there, save the link. Ms. Lundell said it was all about the Jeep. It was. Jedi Bill says, I'm actually shocked that New York still has raccoons living amongst you in Caroga. Are they Turtistani raccoons? trying to take out the emperor. They might be. Murder hornet. Oh my God. Says, I got bit by a possum once. I was scared that it had rabies, but I looked it up and it says possum body temperature is too high for rabies. Rabies is 100% fatal. It is. It's like 99.95% fatal. It's the highest fatality disease ever found. I've only heard of one person that's ever lived through rabies, and it destroyed their brain. They had to basically be re-educated from scratch. Star Trek Nitpicker says, bird don't like rats. Nope. Ross Dogs Broken Spirit says, I would have pleasured a rat to get her. Jeez. Not for me. Not for me. The Traveler says, rats are no deal for birds. Gorilla says, well, gotta watch this episode for Walton's review. If you go and take care, Gorilla. Dan Benz is like that Everyone Loves Raymond episode with the frog lady eats a fly. I don't know about that. Murder Hornet says, rats are like little cats. Dear Bob, up for Star Trek trivia. In the now classic Star Trek The Next Generation episode, The Drumhead, Captain Picard quotes the late Judge Aaron Satie to his daughter, now retired Admiral Nora Satie. She replies back with a quote of her own. Who does she quote? Captain Picard, her father, Martin Luther King Jr., or Greta Thunberg? She said, how dare you use my father's words? I'm guessing. It was Captain Picard, her father, Aaron Satie, Martin Luther King Jr., or Greta Thunberg. I have a feeling it's Greta Thunberg, but I don't think it's an intentional quote. I suspect she just said something that Greta Thunberg also said, not that she was quoting Greta Thunberg. No. The woman, Nora Satie, the woman who was trying Picard. You know the episode where Picard said with a link with. Yes, but then they're saying she replied back after Picard quoted her father. Right. She replied with a quote of her own. Oh, exactly. I don't think she replied back, how dare you? So I'm guessing that was Greta Thunberg. Because it sounds like something Greta Thunberg would say. And it doesn't sound like anyone else would say. Maybe Martin Luther King Jr., but I doubt it. Wait. Answer in next letter. But the next letter has, Dear Bop, joke, what do maps like to eat? What do maps like to eat? I don't know. Pez? Spam? How Spam became one of the most American brands? Oh, maps! It's maps backwards. It's maps backwards. Okay. The answer to the previous question is Greta Thunberg. She replied, how dare you? Although this famous quote was not said until many years after the show was aired, don't forget it takes place in the future. Hope that was fun. Well, I got it. I got it. I don't know if it was fun. Ross Dog's Broken Spirit says Judge Settee was right. Romulans infiltrated Starfleet. Dan Van says that have they ever quoted Martin Luther King in Star Trek? You know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. The Traveler likes how Mama Frey is listening. Dear Bob, are there any reasons not to like Biden? Is that a joke? Yes, there are plenty of reasons not to like Biden. However, if you are not aware of any, then I'm not going to tell you. It's for you to find out. I'm not gonna if you like Biden, then I'm not gonna change your mind. Dear Bop, bing bong, ding dong. Okay. Dear Bop, get rid of Bing. I'm warning you. I pissed it off, and he keeps telling the toaster to take a bath with me. Yeah, that could be a problem. Dear Bop, how did you become so funny? Because every time I try to be funny, people just call me retarded. I don't think I'm that funny. I am probably mentally disabled. Dear Bop, I don't like people being dumbasses. Do you agree? I agree. I don't like dumbasses either. Dear Bop, what is your favorite spray food in a can? I am not aware of any spray foods in cans. I'm aware of Cheese Whiz. Is that a spray food? I don't know. And to be honest, I don't eat it. I know Pam, but that's not a food. That's it's like cooking. It's like you're a butter replacement or an oil replacement. An ingredient more than anything. There is a van in front of the house. Mom will pray. I don't know if it's for us. It's a weird van. I don't have a spray food in a can. Sorry. I guess it would be Cheese Whiz, but it's not something I eat. I don't think I've had spray cheese in 10 plus years.
Cheese Whiz?
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had it. Not in a long time. Oh, whipped cream. I guess that's a canned food, but I don't like whipped cream, so I don't eat whipped cream either. But we've had whipped cream because Mama Pray likes whipped cream. Mama Pray said she's had whipped cream today. And Star Trek Nitpickers says, here's my review of Bird's Review and episode 7. Thank you so much, Star Trek Nitpickers. I will watch that later. Anyway, guys, thank you all for hanging out. Oh, it's later today because we had a late start. Yeah, I got some stuff I got to do here. I will be around later, I hope, and see you guys in the, what's it called? The Underground. The Underground. freethenet.org/underground. At some point, I'll be on whoever's streaming later. I'll try and say hello. And yeah. Anyway, thank you all for hanging out. Kapla all. Wait, one more thing. No, stop. 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 I don't know why that started playing. One more thing we got to do on this Trans Day visibility, hashtag Trans Visibility Day. Let's all gather around and remember this is for our trans brothers and sisters. The trill, the most trans of all Star Trek species, played by the incredibly talented Terry Farrell.